Welcome to Football with Cheese. So in this video, I'm going to go over what, in my opinion, are the two biggest disappointments to the NFL season. Obviously, the teams that had the most amazing season were in the Super Bowl. Patriots went from 4 wins to 14. Seahawks, they went from 10 to 14, but no one was picking them to even win the division. So those are the best success stories. But there are two teams I want to talk about that it did not go well, and I'm sure their fans are not happy. And one of them, it might be a blessing in disguise, but if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for a notification so you never miss one of my videos. I went outside for like 20 minutes because it was really nice today, and something bit me. It's itching like crazy. 20 minutes, it got me. Okay, the first team I want to talk about is the Arizona Cardinals. So in 2022 and 2023, they went 4-13, did not go well. Kyler Murray, the quarterback, had trouble staying healthy. And then last year, the 2024 season, they go 8-9. And it's looking up. It's trending up. The defense was the problem. If Kyler Murray's healthy and we can fix the defense, we can be a playoff team. That's the way it was trending. And I fell for it. I thought the defense, with the additions of Walter Nolan, Will Johnson in the draft, they signed Josh Sweat, they brought in Calais Campbell, they have Budda Baker. I'm thinking this could be a pretty good unit. And if Kyler Murray stays healthy, if Marvin Harrison Jr. keeps improving, they have Trey McBride, this could be a 10 or 11 win team. Now, I'll say this. The division is brutal. The Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. The Rams almost made it to the Super Bowl. The 49ers won 12 games. So 3 of the 4 teams won at least 12 games. So that made the schedule much harder. But even so, they won 3 games. They're picking 3rd in the draft. It was a disaster. The loss to the Titans in Week 5, 22-21, was one of the worst losses I have ever seen in my entire life. They had a 99.7% chance to win at one point. It's where Bam Knight was about to score and he flips the ball on like the half-yard line, goes out the back of the end zone. Jonathan Gannon just lost it on him. It was just an absolute disaster. If they win that game, they're 3-2. They actually won their first 2 games. They beat the Saints and they beat the Panthers. So they started 2-0. They lost to the 49ers by 1 point and Seattle by 3. So if they beat the Titans, okay, we lost to 2 good teams barely, and maybe gives them some momentum. And they won 1 game the rest of the year, and it was after their bye week against Dallas. Now, you have to mention this. You should never use it as an excuse because everyone has injuries, but they did have a ton of injuries. James Conner and Trey Benson, their top 2 running backs, got hurt, so they didn't really run the ball well this year. Offensive line had a bunch of injuries as well. Paris Johnson landed on IR, their left tackle. And Kyler Murray, he's just always hurt, and when he was healthy, he got benched. It's just not working out with him. So Jacoby Brissett, the backup, starts most of the year. He wasn't terrible. The problem with him is he can't move. He's one of the least mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. When Marvin Harrison Jr. did not have the breakout, he got hurt also. I don't know what's going on with him. He's very talented, but there are times where he just doesn't seem like he's interested in running the route. He's just going through the motions. They got to figure him out. Mike Lafleur, you've got to figure out Marvin Harrison Jr., but if you had told me that Michael Wilson, wide receiver, would have a breakout year, over 1,000 yards, and Trey McBride would set the record for catches by a tight end, I'm thinking, okay, this offense is going to be great. With the improvements of the defense, yeah, this may be a playoff team. Once again, the division was rough. The defense collapsed in fourth quarters. They lost every close game, it seemed like. They found a way to lose, almost like they were not tanking, maybe a soft tank, what they call it. Maybe just try to make sure you don't win that close game because we can pick higher in the draft. And that's why I said a blessing in disguise. You do pick 3rd. This is probably the worst draft of all time to pick 3rd. It's so weak in the top 10. You can argue there's maybe 1 or 2 top 10 talents. Yeah, the draft at the top is that weak. It's got some depth. I think the middle rounds will be okay. But still, you're going to pick 3rd overall. You're going to pick in the top 5 in each round. You need another playmaker on defense. You need some offensive line help. So they can get better, and they should be one of the most improved teams in the NFL. It cost Jonathan Gannon his job. My buddy Mike, he's a Cardinal fan. He wanted Gannon to get another year. I get it, but it's hard to sell the fans. We won 8 games. We improved the defense. and then we dropped down to 3. So I get why they fired him. And hey, his name is Mike and not Matt. If your name is Matt, you're a terrible head coach. Matt Lafleur, Matt Nagy, Matt Eberflus. But if your name's Mike, you win the Super Bowl. Mike McDonald, Seahawks coach, just won the Super Bowl. Mike Lafleur. So if you hire Mike, you're probably going to win the Super Bowl. So there you go, Cardinals fans. So it was just a disaster, but looking forward to the draft, they're probably going to get a lot better. And I like Monty Ossenford. He's gotten a little criticism. I think he's done a decent job. I love that video, if you've ever seen it, of him moving down from 3 back to, I think, 12, and moving back up to 6 to get his left tackle, Paris Johnson, which was a really good pick. It's a really fun watch, the inner workings of how a trade works, especially in the top 10, and he did such a good job. But expect them to win 7, 8, 9 games next year, just because it could flip. All the close losses will probably flip, and the defense should continue to get better. And the other team that I want to talk about is the Detroit Lions, who went 9-8. There were people picking them to win the Super Bowl. I thought they'd win at least 12 or 13 games. They won 15 the year before. Sometimes this happens. A lot of things went their way. They won a lot of close games. There were so many times in the fourth quarter that Dan Campbell, the head coach, would just go for the 4th down, 4th and 3, rather than take a field goal, and it just kept working. They kept winning games by getting these 4th downs, and it completely flipped this year. There were so many games they lost because they didn't get the 4th down. He beat Green Bay twice in 2024, lost to them both this year. So a lot of little things went wrong. Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, 2 of the best safeties in the NFL, probably the best safety group in the league, both got hurt. And the backups were not good at all. Kind of collapsed their defense late in the season. They had some offensive line injuries. Of course, we're mentioning injuries. You got to mention it. It's not an excuse. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, another incredible year, 1,400 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery almost combined for 2,000 yards. And Jared Goff had his best season of his career. I think, at least. He didn't have those 2 or 3 horrible games. That's the knock on Jared Goff has always been. He's really good for most every game, and then there's 2, 3, maybe 4 where he's just horrible. And he was horrible in the playoffs against Washington, where they lost that game at home. They were the number 1 seed. But he never had that game this year. 34 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He was one of the best 10 quarterbacks in the league this year. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Borderline, I'm not sure. But he had a really good season. Jamison Williams, another guy, had a great year. He had over 1,100 yards receiving. Sam Laporta only played 9 games. He got hurt. Obviously, once again, that really hurts their offense, but it really didn't affect Jared Goff that much. And early on, I think it did hurt that they lost Ben Johnson. Their new offensive coordinator lost his play calling duties and then lost his job. So I'm not sure about their new hire, Pet Singh, but that's a video for another day. But just looking at this team, all the stars they have. Jack Campbell, linebacker, terrific. Aiden Hutchinson. They have really good offensive tackles, although the interior offensive line, losing Frank Ragnow really hurt. But you have Graham Glasgow, you have Tate Ratledge, you have Christian Mahogany. They're all good run blockers, but they all struggled at times. Pass blocking, they had a lot of trouble with Micah Parsons, but then again, who doesn't? But Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, if he stays healthy, that's a really good tackle group. But I think Detroit next year is still going to be one of the best 5 teams in the NFL. The roster is amazing. If you watch my videos on Monday and Tuesday, I'll link them in the description. I went over the best players at every position, including honorable mentions, and Detroit had 5, and no one else had 3. They have some really good players on this roster. I haven't even mentioned Isaac Tesla. He's one of those guys that made probably 5 of the best 25 catches in the NFL this year. Just really athletic, still kind of raw, but this is one of the best rosters in the NFL. Maybe Seattle, LA Rams are ahead of them, but I'd probably put Detroit 3. Yes, that's how good the roster is. So let me know in the comments. Do you agree with me? Are these the most disappointing teams? Is there another team that you think had even worse season as far as expectations? If you enjoyed this, give me that thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Me and Mike, we do the Lights Out podcast every Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Link in the description. We talk baseball, college football, and of course, NFL. Share this with anyone who loves football. I cover all 32 teams on this channel, and big emphasis on the NFL draft. And we're only about a little over 2 months away, so we're about to hit draft season. So make sure you share this with anyone who loves the draft. Once again, subscribe if you have not. Check this video out. and I'll see you in the next one.